Welcome, everyone, to the Real Whovians cast, episode 831. I am just Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Ray. What's up, Ray?
What's happening, everybody?
What's up, Chris?
What's going on, people?
All right, so basically we were just talking about how Doctor Who has no news, but then off air, we were talking about the ridiculousness of the way Moffat has been writing things. And one of the biggest things we were talking about off air that, we all decided, hey, let's just talk about this on air, was the fact that, for me, every episode of Sherlock was like a perfect 10, Now, I know Moffat didn't write every episode, but he had his hand in it. So, the Runaway, whatever the hell was it? Not the Runaway Bride, the, whatever bride thing that was, what was the name of the Sherlock thing? The, corpse, whatever the hell thing, I don't know, I'm getting the name mixed up. But, for the first time ever for me, Sherlock was not a perfect 10. It was like almost failing, like a 6. I really didn't enjoy it. In fact, I don't like it so much that I basically forgot it, most of it, or wanted to forget it. And that's bad for Sherlock. So we were talking about basically how all these opportunities that they had with Capaldi when Moffat was being the showrunner, and Moffat just, like, the episodes are just messed up, man. They're not really thought out well. They didn't end the way they should have. Into the Dalek, I was pointing out that it just could have went in so many different directions, like where the Doctor, shares himself with the Dalek, and the Dalek looks in his soul. And it could have went into many awesome directions, and it went flat.
Could I just jump in there?
Yeah.
I remember when we did the cast for it, there was only a few of us on the cast that actually didn't like it.
Right.
When it first came out. And I'm glad that you see it that way now, because I got to tell you, I didn't like that episode at all. That, to me, was the only episode other than the season finale of that season.
See, I liked it originally, but then after a while, it's like your mood changes after you see it sometimes. And for me, I didn't like Deep Breath. I mean, I liked some qualities from it, which I thought the thing holding her breath and everything, I got that. It was cool. I really felt it was too dark, beyond too dark for an opener, and especially for Clara, relationship with him, and too morbid that they eat people in the restaurant. So Enter Dalek should have been an uplifting thing, and again, it went more dark. And it was just, the sets weren't really good enough to be inside a Dalek. Like, it wasn't really... Yeah, I mean, you spray painted a wall, and that was just dumb. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about, Chris. I mean, the budget.
I 100% do, because I always felt that when they were doing Into the Dalek, this was their chance to really explore what it's like to be a Dalek. Like, the audience should have felt like we understand how they think.
Right.
We understand what's going on, that they're not just these suits of armor, that there's a living thing inside of it, and at the end of the episode, I was just like, I don't care.
I really didn't feel they were in the Dalek. I really didn't feel they were in the Dalek.
I felt like we were in a Dalek ship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I liked the idea of a good Dalek, right? I liked that idea. What I didn't like was that they were like, oh no, he's just broken.
Yeah.
I was like, why can't we actually have a Dalek who maybe looks at this and says,
defies orders.
And you want to know what it was too? I was saying that I thought it would have been interesting, honestly, if you remember Asylum of the Daleks?
Yeah, I like that.
I thought it would have been maybe even better if the Daleks weren't like nuts like they were, but if they were actually like this good Dalek. Like their definition of insane was what we consider sane.
Right. Right.
I thought that would have been really interesting. But that was a good episode, Asylum of the Daleks. But yeah, Into the Dalek, I agree. I when I saw it, I was like, this is very underwhelming.
Yeah, so my thing went down after seeing so many times, because I loved it at first. And then one of my favorites was the Robot of Sherwood, because I thought that was Mark Gatiss' best story that he's ever done for Doctor Who. Besides the Adventure in Space and Time, which I thought was fabulous. But yeah, that was great. And they wound up changing that too because of the beheadings and all that stuff. That originally, again, they were going to do the thing with the head chopping off and all that stuff. it was kind of choppy the way it ended with, you know, what the hell was going on. But I enjoyed it because it showed to me how genuine it was that he was jealous that this person was getting close with Clara. And he, as far as I'm concerned, I feel that the doctor's in love with Clara, but he just doesn't want to say anything because he's older looking. But I get that impression throughout all these seasons. But anyway, and then we get stuff like Kill the Moon, which when you saw the trailer, it looked so cool, the trailer.
Yep.
And it just totally wasn't. I mean, did you have to make the moon an egg? No, you didn't. Okay.
At least not Earth's moon.
No. And you know one thing that sucks for me? It's you have a suck episode, but then you have good stuff from it. Like when she told him off for doing that to her. First of all, I did not like when he was talking crap about the Earth and how it's not my planet. I was totally pissed off about that. Totally pissed. I was not having it. I was not, I was really angry that he just abandoned his companion. To me, it was like shades of Colin Baker when they made Colin Baker not care. And, oh, Perry's alive. All right, that's nice. I'll leave her there. I mean, I just don't like certain things. And I was getting that impression again with the writing. And I'm like, oh, God, please don't turn Peter Capaldi's time into like a Colin Baker where he gets bad writing and he could have been a great doctor, but, the writing screwed it up. But again, you got great lines from Clara where she screamed at him and flipped at him. We had the caretaker. I'm not doing it in order, by the way, but the caretaker, the villain was just stupid. But it was making like kiddie-ish, like Sarah Jane Adventures, But I did like that episode a lot because it was a lot of character development for Danny Pink and for Clara and the doctor. So I really enjoyed that a lot. But again, the villain sucked. All this stuff with Missy, jump in there, Chris, anytime.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, in my opinion, best episode of that season, Mummy on the Orient Express.
Yeah.
Great episode. Probably the best of that season, in my opinion.
But also there was stuff in there that you think it was supposed to be more. Like, why would he bring the guy in the TARDIS to look and see if he could fix it if the only people that could fix the TARDISes are Time Lords because it's supposed to be so far advanced technology? And then this guy, you got the impression that he was a regenerated Drax, which was the Doctor's friend that became a mechanic, And you got the impression that he knew the Doctor and the Doctor knew him, and he knew exactly what was wrong with the TARDIS. And I was like, oh,
maybe they did, but I still think that was probably the best episode of the season. I really did. I mean, I thought the story was great. The set was great. I thought the creature itself,
right?
The red herring where you thought the Doctor was going to sacrifice that girl, but then he brought it upon himself. He was like, nope, I'm going to do it. I love that. I just love that scene when Capaldi figures everything out, and then he says, we surrender, and then the mummy salutes him, and then he says, you're relieved. I think that's a great episode, honestly.
And we get stuff like Time Heist, which I thought was the crappiest of the season.
I thought that one was okay. It wasn't.
It was a cool villain, I guess, but they ruined it for me.
But how many times in that season, though, did we see after one of the episodes a good trailer, and then we're thinking, oh, we're excited for next week, and then when it comes around...
Yeah. What else do we have in that, Chris? Remember?
Oh. There was that one with the forest on the Earth.
Oh, God, that was awful.
Oh,
God. I was watching that, and because I was watching this with my mom, because I got her into Doctor Who a while ago, and I looked over at her and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Pardon my language. I know we don't like to curse on here, but that, honestly, I was like, what is going on?
I don't know what the fucking...
This is the worst. Like, at the time, I was just sitting there like, what are they trying? What they... You know what boggles my mind is that
protected us. It was like
I was like, this is what I always think. Like, what could have been this episode? What could this episode have been other than this?
Right.
How many scripts did they possibly go through? And they were like, that's the one we're going with. If they even do it like that, I don't even know.
It makes you wonder that maybe somebody screwed up and there was supposed to be a writer and they had to just write something on the fly really fast.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I wonder if Capaldi walked off the set for that one.
And then the Listen episode, which I really liked.
And there was that episode where Danny finally got killed off, which was morbid.
No, well, let's get to the end yet. I mean, we had Listen, which I really liked that. You like that?
I didn't like Listen, to tell you the truth.
Really?
I was bored. Honestly, I was pretty bored throughout the whole episode.
That could have been even more so better. And then we also had the where the TARDIS was shrunk, Flatline or something.
That was good.
Yeah,
I like
that.
You know what I did? Speaking of, Listen, was that the one where she visited the doctor when he was really young?
Yes.
Yeah.
That really annoyed me.
That annoyed me too.
That made me, it was just, again, another thing. That really set me over the top because that made me feel like she told him to be the doctor.
Yeah, that got me very angry about that. I think Moffat knows he screwed that up too.
She told him that he was a doctor. She told him what TARDIS to pick. Oh.
But you know what I would do? I would somehow fix them all because certain things I usually can't have. You know, like she didn't tell him what TARDIS to choose.
Thank you.
That's crap.
Yeah.
Okay, don't effing do that because you really.
I'm not being rude. That's just basically taking a crap on the old series.
The way I look at it, right? Everything should have got canceled out, and the great intelligence is alive, and she's alive, and none of that stuff happened. And let's just think of it that way, you know, that time healed itself, and nobody showed anybody the TARDIS. Just went back to normal way. I have a big problem about the whole War Doctor thing still to this day.
Yeah.
It just, to me, it just doesn't fit. It was always 8th into the 9th. It just, he got it wrong with the regeneration count because, you know, he told Mr. Clever that he had another regeneration, which he did. So I'm never going to be happy about that.
Well, let's because we've talked about that before, but I don't think what we really talked about, though, was anybody else pissed off the way the 8th Doctor regenerated?
Yeah.
No, because you know what? He was supposed to be dead already, and he was going to die, so they did say that in the classic Brandon Morbius episodes, different things about that. So I know about the Sisterhood of Karn, and I was glad that they brought them back. I actually thought that was one of the greatest things to do with the 8th Doctor. I kind of always believed, right, that, and this would have been better, that the cup was actually another regeneration because basically he was always supposed to regenerate into the 9th, but that kind of got delayed. Then he will become 9th again, but a little later. That's the way I always envision it now, that he was always going to be the 9th, you know? So to me, it's like, I can't have it that, I thought it was a cop-out that there was a doctor that just quit being the doctor, because what if if he regenerates for like 100 times, right? How many times is he going to be the doctor where he doesn't want to be the doctor? That's like a cop-out. Like, I'm not in the mood to be the doctor in this incarnation. I'm going to have fun.
Well, I felt like that was I felt like that was a big, like, FU to people who were waiting for the Valyard, because that's not creative.
Yeah.
You already have a doctor who turned evil who wasn't the doctor.
Right.
Now we've got another doctor who's not the doctor? Like, what? And what about him was so bad? Because I got to tell you, in the 50th anniversary, I didn't get the feeling that he was that bad.
Right.
I thought he was just like any other doctor, just a little bit more depressed. Emphasize what he did that was so bad.
Nothing.
Because it's not the thing that they told us he did, because he didn't do that. So, why is he so bad?
I mean, I don't know. It's just, I just, to me, I mean, they should go back and say that Matt Smith got it wrong, that he did have another regeneration, and the Time Lords gave him a whole batch of regenerations.
Yeah.
Because he just was so old and effed up, he didn't even know better.
Yeah.
So technically, Capaldi isn't the first of a new cycle. That's what I would do. But again, the number count gets screwed up too because they count the regeneration of Tennant, which I wouldn't have counted that either because it wasn't a complete change, And we made debates about that in videos back when I first started. And so I like everything squeaky clean nice with the regeneration count. Like, you know who the first Doctor is, you know who the 8th Doctor is, you know who the 9th Doctor is. I don't like, when you try and explain it to somebody, it gets so confusing. Well, how many doctors are there? Well, there have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But then there would his. I just don't like to confuse the crap out of people with that. So I would just like to say 8, 9, 10, 11. That's just. And then what are you gonna say? Oh, well, 10 was 2 doctors. It was okay. So, I would fix that somehow.
But like we were saying, there were so many bad episodes, though.
It's just Dark Water was a great effing episode, and then Death in Heaven was like his whole effing mood changed. It's like he was in the groove, he's writing it, Dark Water, and then he got interrupted. And then something happened in his life to affect his writing. And then when he went to do it became a completely different thing.
I'm not being rude. I don't know how morbid you have to be to have Danny Pink die like the way he did.
I know. See, that didn't make any sense to me either. Because I said it. If he could flip over the caretaker like that, and if he's a military guy and he's, the precision of shooting the bullet and everything, he should not be careless crossing the street. That was stupid. I didn't believe that. And I thought that she was pregnant.
That was the only way I bought that.
Yeah.
Because let's say she said something that shocking and he was off his guard. I can buy something.
Yeah.
But the fact that she just said that and that made him walk into the street. First of all, in my opinion, and I think this is the opinion you guys have, why did she call him like that? There was no reason for her to call him.
She was pregnant.
Unless she was pregnant, but she's not. And
honestly, I would have the Time Lords have a monument on effing Gallifrey because she's the reason that they're there. She stopped the Doctor from pressing the button. They should be knowing her name and worshiping her like a god, almost like Omega. And then they should say, well, you know what? We have to fix time because we screwed up. We created that thing for Ashilda. So we have to put the universe back the way it is. And we have to bring Danny Pink back. And we have to forget about the Raven, all that crap. Give her a new body. Or maybe she has a regeneration from which is familiar or whatever. And then she's back and that's it. Okay? Moffat's biggest problem is he doesn't have to have them die or some monumental thing. They could be freaking happy and leave.
Like Martha did.
That is it. They could have did something with the ponds where, that's not effing believable either. Okay, and he even admitted he kept he didn't know what to do. He was so close to the characters that they were like his best friends, the characters and the actors themselves. And he messed up the Angel Stake Manhattan. I would just fix it. What would it be for Matt Smith to just go back, find a way, bring them back home, and then you know what? She's pregnant again, and that's how you end it. Where Amy Pond is pregnant, so they're back in the present time. She's actually pregnant, and she can't travel. It's no more. That's it. I won't have my baby hurt. I won't have my baby whatever. That's it. And then they are happily ever after with Ryan, and that's it.
And then do the same with Clara and Danny, and have her pregnant.
No, with Clara, I would do something different where, maybe, Danny gets hurt and he can't, maybe walks with a cane or something, and they get married. She's been hurt too, but they decide, let's just, that's it. We've had enough. Like the Tegan Javanka thing. Tegan was totally done. That's what I want. You don't have to kill them or do all these crazy things. You could write your way around it. So it is believable. I mean, people want to quit their jobs sometimes. They're done with the routine. They want to do something different. It's not impossible that, I mean, Martha Jones gave up traveling with the doctor, okay? It's not impossible that people could just say no to the doctor. So that's what the problem is.
And I don't know how Moffat commissioned some episodes.
But traveling with a diner TARDIS, that's crazy.
Yeah, like Sleep No More. I don't know how you even commissioned that episode.
Well, that's not even Moffat. That's Gatiss, but that's all Gatiss. You can't even blame Moffat for any of that because Gatiss, I guess, is the one writer that does his own thing without any influence, and that was just crap. He goes from the greatest episode to the worst.
Let's talk about that two-parter with the Zygons.
The worst,
the first part.
Worst effing episode ever, but then the second part's great.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
that's a reversal of Dark Water and Death in Heaven.
And it was like before the flood and then the lake. They were talking about the Neversphere, about the bodies and that, and then they don't go back to it.
What I really liked about the episode was it reminded me of the Doctor just traveling with people. They didn't have to have superpowers or their intelligence level be this. You had that guy and the girl just traveling with him, and it reminded me of the classic series. And she was excited about being a TARDIS. I really liked that.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. And, they didn't have to be a supermodel to be a companion. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They could have been the companions.
It's true.
I would have accepted that. Anybody would have accepted that. You didn't have to be the credentials. It used to be anybody would be the Doctor's companion. I mean, they had some winners. I got to admit that I wasn't crazy about it all back in the past. But you didn't have to. Now the chart is like ridiculous to pick the companion. I mean, what do you do? I mean, after you're coming off Clara, what do you do?
Well, and about those two episodes as well, what kind of bothered me about both of those episodes was that they didn't link to the bigger story. It just kind of felt like filler to me. I think that what they could have done was they could have done maybe something in that story, in those two episodes, that maybe linked to the bigger picture. Because if you don't have any, in my opinion anyway, if you don't have anything that links to the bigger picture, you know what I call that? Filler.
Yeah.
There's no place.
That should never been a two-parter.
No, shouldn't have.
And it's like Missy, they had her in the first two, and then all of a sudden you decided to give a Shielder the biggest part ever.
Well, The Witch is familiar. The Witch is familiar, I gotta say. That bullcrap thing in the beginning was just nonsense.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? You have Missy, and then you decide to use a Shielder more than Missy.
That's what I'm saying. That's what really made me, I thought Missy was going to show up in the season finale, like she should have.
On Gallifrey, yeah.
I was disappointed.
She's gone. What did she do? Where did she go?
That was like they didn't know what to do with her, and he just, left her.
Yeah, it's basically like UNIT decided, you can go. You can go. We're not going to do anything to stop you.
I always thought that Osgood's mother was Kate Stewart.
Oh, I thought.
Because I thought it was. She always said her girls, like her daughters. So I actually thought that Osgood was her daughter.
I thought her aunt or something, at least, or something, kind of. Even her aunt or nan or something, but no.
That left me a bad taste in my mouth when that late.
And when did not rude, and also Clara, when did she start bossing UNIT around?
Yeah, I don't even understand the whole vortex manipulator thing either, because I thought that River has Captain Jack's vortex manipulator, but then there's somebody else. That's just, how many vortex manipulators are going to have? Unless
the Doctor had one at one stage.
No, the Doctor didn't have one. He didn't. River had one. Captain Jack had one. Clara had one. Missy has one. 4. He doesn't have one. He borrowed one from River in Pandora or whatever. Gave it back to her in Big Bang.
Well, honestly, going back to the first part of the Zygon episode, or episodes, I should say. Do you remember how bad UNIT was in that episode?
That crap episode. Yeah, that reminded me of Species like 3 or 4, where it goes from a theatrical release to a worse than a direct-to-DVD made-for-TV crap. You know,
I was laughing at that episode. I mean, some of the things that happened, and I said, this is all so simple to fix. You say that the elite team from Unit is off trying to clean up what happened with Missy, and this is like the B team. You know what I'm saying? Or not even the B team. This is like the F team, right? And that's why they're but the thing that got me, and I was sitting there the whole time, I was like, they told you that these are shape-shifting aliens. What do you think they're going to do? Like,
why would you believe that that's your parents?
Exactly. Why would you be there? You're fighting shape-shifting aliens. Your parents are in a place that they shouldn't be. 2 and 2 together.
But they were trained. Just like, remember how they had that church? And the church was training the workers to make sure they see through the psychic paper, different things. And they had a whole thing about the sonic screwdriver and what it does. What the hell is going on with I mean, they're making Kate Stewart suck.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I mean, she's like, you know, the Brigadier's dead, but I mean, come on, man. You're making her like a waste of, you're making the woman's role like horrible, like the women can't run Unit.
That's like I was saying, when did Clara start bossing Unit around? Is she in Kate Stewart?
Kate, honestly, there should have been a scene in that episode, and maybe there was, I don't remember. I don't remember there being one, where Clara tries to boss her around, and Kate's like, listen, you're a guest here, so shut up.
Yeah, back off.
I'm in charge.
And the stuff with Osgood's sister.
Yeah. Originally, Osgood, before she was killed by Missy, right? She had a sister that was supposed to be prettier than her.
Yeah, yep.
And perfect, and they were probably twins, which I would assume that twin would become the companion. Maybe she dresses differently, I don't know, whatever. But Osgood should have been a companion. I'm sorry. That was ridiculous. Another thing we really never talked about was the fact that you have the Paternoster gang, right? And they have all this technology from the future. Mm. Did you know that they had a spaceship?
No, I remember when you said that. We were all like, what?
Yeah, you didn't see that mini-sode where they're just chilling in space and then they go back? Like, you have time travel too now?
Mm-hmm.
They were talking to Strax was doing videos on the Doctor. And they were in a spaceship. And they're like, we got to go back home now to the past or something.
That's like
when did we get time travel ships now?
That's how come we were saying another week with the sister of Khan. When did they get to Gallifrey? How did they get there?
This is why when Russell T. Davis was with Moffat, if anybody make a mistake, the other one correct each other, and they make sure they didn't really make a big mistake. Now this is what Moffat
writer.
What?
No, I mean that's the point of having multiple writers, because nobody's perfect. We're not expecting people to write perfect scripts, but if you have more than one writer looking over a script, which happens in the real, like in movies and shows all the time, usually they say, hey, this doesn't really work. Maybe we should do this,
Right.
It's a joke. I'm just hoping that Chibnall can correct some of the damage,
Well, he's gonna have taking that stuff seriously. He's got a whole writer's room, like the Knights of Camelot, big, huge Star Wars. Get everybody together, Episode 7 thing. I mean, like really getting serious about it. And I think he's going to be different, where he's going to let them write what they want to write. I mean, he may jump in or there, but I don't think it's going to be like, you write this, you write this. No, I think it's going to be like, I want to write this. Okay, go ahead, write it. That's what I think is going to happen.
And I'm not even really that. I know it's crazy in that, but in Face the Raven when Capaldi had to go out on a shielder.
Yeah.
And that. You really thought that he was going to do something. And then when he was in the last, in El Ben, when he saw at the end of the universe, you really thought that he'd go in and whip that chip out, didn't you? And say, I'm not going to let you live anymore.
I thought Missy dropped her off. I didn't think that she was just waiting there.
But you know what I mean? I thought he was going to take with a chip and say, I'll let you live enough now. You caused enough damage or something. But he never did anything like that. He let her go and travel with a shield with Clara.
I got to tell you, that chip thing was the biggest piece of garbage both in the show and writing-wise, that I have ever seen.
Which one?
The chip that makes
That was
children.
garbage.
I think that is the worst thing that they've ever introduced into that show, honestly.
What happened to the other one? The other one who had the chip, that Sam or whatever.
Yeah, apparently he died somehow, right?
How did he die? He had the chip, and yet the Shielder can carry on living.
Could you imagine, we've said this before, could you imagine if, like, the Daleks got their hands on that?
Exactly.
There's a part of them that's organic, and it would still work. Could you imagine? Davros gets his hands on that, implements it into every Dalek.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for the Daleks in the next series, in this current series, to regenerate, because they've got a regeneration energy.
Right. Those, exactly right, what you just said. Those are what the hybrid should have been. They should have been regenerating Daleks, and we should have seen a new Davros who wasn't in the chair. He had regenerations too, and he's like, you see, Doctor, not only are they half Time Lord, they're part of you as well.
Yeah.
There's your hybrid. And then you can have Gallifrey come back, because he needs them to come back, because the Doctor needs their help, because that's the only way that he can beat the hybrids. And maybe he doesn't defeat them all in this episode, in this season. Maybe in the next season they show up again.
I would think that the Daleks would have to appear, and he has to explain, like Moffat has to explain stuff.
Yeah. And then you have Missy
like
show
what
up
happened to them
in the finale as well. And she says, yeah, I joined them because I'm terrified of them. But they said if I help them, they'll let me live.
Somebody told me that the finale had to do with Clara and Shilda screwing stuff up so bad that time is splintered. And that was Missy's whole plan. And everybody's in the finale. Like a whole, he's got to fix time or else, whatever. And I guess he's...
It's anything like Clara, though. She's got regeneration energy in a way.
Well, she should.
Apparently she doesn't, though.
Yeah.
See, I'm telling you, when we said this before, I legitimately thought at the end of Face the Raven that when the Doctor was gone, you were going to see the yellow light outside the window.
Yeah, she could regenerate, basically.
Shilda was going to walk outside and be like, oh my gosh, and then...
That's what they should do. And they could have a different actress play Clara.
Yeah. And when she gets put back in that point of time, that's when, what should happen.
They could technically have Clara regenerate into Madame de Pompadour and then just be put in the past or something as a child or something. Memories messed up. And then that really showcases that they loved each other.
More chances of her being a little girl called Cal.
Yeah, maybe she has something to do with that we talked about before. All right. I hate when we have time limits. We didn't have it the whole night. Now we're having it. So we're going to go. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed the Real Whovians cast. Take care. Bye for now.